The ocean has a way of hiding its greatest secrets in plain sight. But on that morning, when I descended into the silence of the deep, I had no idea I was about to uncover a world the surface had forgotten. I dropped into the water expecting nothing more than a routine survey of a collapsed reef. The currents were still, unnaturally still, like the sea itself was waiting for me to arrive. As my fins brushed the sand, I saw it immediately. Hard edges beneath the shifting particles, a dark stone peeking out like a buried memory. I knelt, brushed the sand away, and there, a carved stairway. Not coral, not rock. Construction. Someone built this. Someone meant for it to be found or never found at all. My pulse quickened. I activated the camera mounted to my mask. This is something else, I whispered, and I began my descent. The first chamber swallowed me whole, a hollow room half filled with water, half filled with a silence so thick it pressed against my suit. My light swept across walls carved with spirals, storms, ships swallowed by waves. The artistry was unlike anything I'd seen. Neither Egyptian nor Greek nor Mesopotamian. A culture disconnected from time. The deeper I went, the more oppressive the pressure became. Dust lifted off the floor with every movement, swirling like ghosts rising to greet me. Statues lined the walls, elongated figures with eyes shaped like teardrops, staring blankly into eternity. Some held weapons, others held scrolls. One held a bowl filled with pearls, still shimmering in perfect condition. Their preservation was impossible, unless these chambers had somehow remained sealed from the ocean until recently. It struck me then. This city didn't drown slowly, it vanished all at once. And as I drifted through a narrow corridor, my torch caught something glinting beneath a fallen slab. I wedged myself through and found a mural, a massive one. It depicted a towering city of white stone rising out of a rocky coastline, its spires spiraling like seashells toward the sky. Below it, the final panel showed waves crashing over the city, swallowing everything in a single sweeping arc. A disaster. Catastrophic. Instant. And in the corner, etched in obsidian, the same glyph I would come to see again and again. The spiral of the drowned sun. A symbol with no recorded origin. No linguistic relatives, nothing. A symbol belonging to a civilization history erased. Past the mural, I pushed deeper, fins brushing through a collapsed archway. That was when I found the first treasure haul. Even now, replaying the footage, it doesn't feel real. The chamber glittered like a galaxy inverted. Coins spread across the floor, necklaces tangled like vines, golden plates stacked against broken walls. Sunlight leaking through a crack in the ceiling reflected off everything, turning the entire room into a storm of shimmering fragments. Underwater treasure never looks this pristine. But here, time had surrendered. A golden mask lay half buried near my feet. Its expression was stern, almost angry. I lifted it, and for a moment I felt like it was staring back at me, accusing me of trespassing. I placed it back exactly where I found it. Some artifacts demand respect. Farther in, I reached a long corridor carved with deep vertical ridges that looked like waves frozen mid-crash. The carvings grew more chaotic the deeper I swam, twisting into shapes that resembled lightning bolts or serpents. Coral clung to the grooves like veins, glowing faintly in my torch's glare. As I kicked forward, I whispered into the recorder, if this city had priests, this was their path. And then at the very end, an enormous stone doorway appeared, slightly ajar. That's when my heart stopped, because behind it, air, a sealed chamber, untouched by water for centuries. I squeezed through the opening, and my torch revealed what looked like a sanctuary. Oil lamps still clung to the walls, dried herbs hung from ropes, and at the center stood a stone slab covered in items, obsidian discs, carved idols, bone flutes offering bowls filled with dried petals. A reliquary sat in the center, a stone chest bound with corroded metal bands. The spiral was carved onto its lid in thick, violent strokes. I didn't open it. Not here, not alone. But I knew then, this civilization practiced rituals beyond anything we've recorded. Back underwater, I continued down twisting stairs leading into natural caverns. Here, nature reclaimed everything, but strangely, the architecture blended into the rock perfectly, as if the city had grown out of the earth instead of being built by hand. One cavern in particular took my breath away. Walls coated in bioluminescent algae pulsed gently like a living heart, illuminating dozens of stone stands holding artifacts. Bowls, tablets, ceremonial combs, weapons forged with an alloy I didn't recognize. Their edges hadn't dulled. Some still gleamed. This chamber felt less like a room and more like a museum left behind for someone who would someday understand. I spoke into the recorder again. If the ocean wasn't so silent, I'd swear someone curated this. Climbing upward, I reached what I believe was the Hall of Tides, a long room flanked by colossal stone anchors. Each one was carved with intricate spirals and suspended from the ceiling by massive chains now encrusted with barnacles. These anchors weren't maritime tools. They were ceremonial, symbols of protection, but protection from what? Then came the library, a cavernous room lined with shelves carved directly into the rock. Thousands of tablets, scrolls, and artifacts were sealed inside clay cylinders, wrapped in leather bands hardened by time. I picked one up gently, brushing away sediment. The surface was engraved with symbols: spirals, suns, crescent moons, crashing waves. Their writing system was beautiful and completely unknown. My heart pounded. This wasn't just a lost city. It was a lost civilization. But nothing prepared me for the throne room. Entering it felt like stepping into another world, one where sunlight pierced the ocean through a massive split in the ceiling, refracting into dancing beams. Each beam struck golden objects scattered around a black obsidian throne, making them glow like fire underwater. The throne itself was imposing, carved from a single block of obsidian, polished to a mirror-like sheen. The spiral was etched into its back in swirling hypnotic curves. And at its base, an array of offerings, a crown of hammered gold, necklaces made of shells shaped into perfect spirals, weapons forged with a metal that looked like liquid moonlight, ceremonial masks, still painted with vibrant pigments. I hovered there for a long time, barely breathing. Whoever sat on that throne was more than a ruler. They were a myth made flesh. But the deepest point, the one that haunts me still, was the final corridor. The water grew colder. Light seemed to bend unnaturally. My instruments flickered as if something was interfering with them. The corridor stretched out like the neck of a beast, long and suffocating. And at the end, the gate. Two towering stone slabs fused with coral and etched with depictions of sinking cities, raging storms, people kneeling before a spiral sun. The carvings were frantic, rushed, layered with fear. But what froze me in place were the gouges. Deep, violent, carved straight into the stone. Something massive, something with claws, had attacked this gate with terrifying strength. My breath misted inside the mask as I whispered, "Something tried to get in," or something tried to get out. The spiral was carved at the center of the gate, larger and deeper than anywhere else. It felt alive. I placed my hand against it, and for a split second, I swear I felt warmth. I stepped back immediately. I didn't open the gate. Not this time. The ocean wasn't ready for that, and neither was I. My ascent was slow, heavy. Every meter upward felt like leaving behind a part of myself. As the sunlight finally broke through, illuminating the waves above me, I felt the weight of what I'd discovered pressing into my chest. A drowned city, an unknown culture. Rituals, treasures, technologies, warnings. And behind that sealed gate, something that terrified a civilization powerful enough to build temples beneath the waves. When I surfaced, the world felt different, smaller somehow. I don't know what destroyed this city, I don't know what the spiral means, and I don't know what lies behind the gate. But I do know this. This is only the beginning. I will return. And next time, I won't turn back. Thank you for joining me in this descent into the forgotten world beneath the sea. Stay curious, stay brave, and I'll see you in the next expedition.